On December the 20th of 2021, a lady was arrested by Toronto Police Service just for simply walking down a street. This is a video that's gained a lot of attention. A number of people have asked me about it, so today on Don't Talk TV, I'm going to take a look at that. Hello, my name's Nicholas Wansbetter. I'm a criminal defense lawyer in Stratford, Ontario, Canada, and welcome to Don't Talk TV. So I'm still actually on vacation right now, and given that I'm on vacation mode, I'm going to try to make this video short and sweet. Also, my laptop is in the shop right now, so I'm handing editing duties over to my volunteer media relations person, Richard Mitchell. So if things seem a little bit different than usual, that'd be why. Now, as I said in the preamble, today I'm going to cover the arrest of a lady who was walking down a street in Toronto. Happened to be the street that Premier Doug Ford lives on, and we can imagine that's likely why she got arrested. But let's have a look at the video, and I'll give you some comments on the actual law and why I think this is a wrongful arrest. And frankly, I think Toronto Police even realized it was an unlawful arrest, as we'll see. So let's take a look at the arrest video first.
Guys, you can't go down there.
So right here, right at the beginning of the video, 10 seconds in, she's detained at this point. The police officer's getting in her way, he's blocking her path. This is already a detention because she's not free to move out. She's not free to move about with liberty. So there's some debate and argumentation back and forth. So she's debating back and forth with the officer for a little while there. She then tries walking over to the other side of the street. And we'll just start watching again at the 1 minute and 9 second mark. She's trying to walk down the street. And now she's surrounded by a number of officers, and they forcibly grab her and place her in handcuffs.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's basically it. It's a pretty straightforward incident. Now let's have a look at an interview she did with Free Speech Media, and I should pause to mention thank you to them for allowing us to use this footage.
So they arrested you and released you, or what happened?
Yeah,
Did they give you a ticket?
they didn't give me a ticket. They didn't read me my rights, nothing. But they handcuffed me and put me in the car.
So they detained you. They
Yeah,
didn't say you're under arrest?
They did say I was under arrest,
They
but they
said you're
didn't
under-
read me my rights, and then they let me go.
What did they
So,
say?
according to this lady, she was arrested for obstruct police, but then they never actually charged her. They didn't read her her rights. They just handcuffed her, arrested her, detained her for a little while, and then released her. Now, that goes back to what I said earlier, where I think even Toronto Police realized they couldn't do this, and that's why they let her go without charge. So, let's look at a couple things. First of all, the arrest itself. Is that a lawful detention? Section 495 sub 1 of the Criminal Code of Canada lays out the requirements for police to make an arrest without a warrant. Covered this in previous videos, but as a quick refresher, a peace officer may arrest without warrant a person who's committed an indictable offense, or on reasonable grounds the officer believes has committed an offense or is about to commit an indictable offense, or sub B, he finds a person committing a criminal offense. So we need to look at, was this lady committing a criminal offense to allow for a warrantless arrest? I can't conceive of what possible offense she may have been committing. Walking down the street is not a crime. Section 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantees us the right to life, liberty, and security of the person. Part of that liberty means you're allowed to just walk down the street if you want to. Walking is not a licensed activity. Police can stop you to make sure you have your license if you're driving a car, if you're hunting, if you're fishing, things that require licenses. You don't need a license to walk down the street, at least not yet. Was the officer trying to identify her? Again, you don't need identification to walk down the street, so I don't see that as being any possibility of a legitimate reason for stopping her. I'm not exactly sure what the police were doing here. This is in the context of some protests that had been going on outside of Doug Ford's residence, so clearly they're trying to stop that. I just don't think they actually have the lawful authority to do that. Section 134 of the Highway Traffic Act does allow them to shut down highways and control traffic. Again, however, that doesn't apply to pedestrians. It applies to motor vehicle traffic. Now, the police would be entirely within their rights to keep people off of Mr. Ford's private property. But when it comes to public property, I'm not aware of any law that allows the police to forbid people from simply walking down a street, which is what was happening here. So having said that, then the police are trying to say that they arrested her for obstruction. Well, Section 129 of the Criminal Code lays out that a person is guilty of an offense who resists or willfully obstructs a peace officer in the execution of his duty. The key there is the execution of duty. It has to be lawful execution of duty. So I think what I've laid out thus far would show that the police weren't in the lawful execution of their duty. They had no lawful authority to be stopping this lady. She therefore had no duty to comply with that detention, and she's not obstructing the police because they're not in the execution of their duty. It was totally inappropriate for them to arrest her. And again, they didn't charge her because I think they realized they had no case to obstruct justice. But police can't just arrest people just because they feel like it. So this is clearly a wrongful arrest case in my view, and I hope this lady seeks legal counsel to pursue what remedies are available to her. Now, I think after this, I heard there was a reporter who was arrested or interfered with by police. I've seen some posts on Facebook suggesting that Section 176, Sub 2 of the Criminal Code ought to be pursued against Toronto Police. Section 176 is entitled Obstructing or Violence to or Arrest of Officiating Clergymen or Disturbing Religious Worship or Certain Meetings. So subsection 2 is the one that people seem to be talking about. Everyone who willfully disturbs or interrupts an assemblage of persons met for religious worship or for a moral, social, or benevolent purpose is guilty of an offense, punishable on summary conviction. I quite frankly think that people are completely barking up the wrong tree to say that Toronto Police's behavior here had anything to do with interfering with a religious ceremony. It was a protest. I don't think that falls under the social or benevolent meetings that are described there. That's clearly to do with religious worship, religious outreach, maybe running a soup kitchen or something like that. Protesting is something that's guaranteed by the Charter, your right to assembly and to protest, but Section 176 is not the angle to go with here. Although I do think this lady was guilty of an assault and unlawful confinement by virtue of the fact that people laid hands on her and she was arrested without lawful authority. So again, thanks to Free Speech Media for letting us use the videos. I don't think there's much more to be said about this. It's pretty clear. This video isn't legal advice. If you need legal advice, contact a lawyer. You can call another lawyer or myself. My 1-855 number and website are listed below. If there's show topics you'd like to see me cover, please send an email to the email address listed below or leave a comment in the comments section. If you found this video at all interesting, helpful, or informative, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and following us on social media.